Well, I want to do a little video here on aroid mixes. Uh, Usually it's used for aroids, philodendrons, anthuriums, some of your alocasias, colocaceas, depending on where they come from in the world. I tend to use it for just about every plant I have, or at least a variant of it. I even use something similar, which is actually a bonsai mix for my cactus and xeric plants, and it works awesome. There's stuff that I've never been able to keep alive before that I'm using that bonsai mix on cactus wise, and man, perfect. No problems. Anyway, the aroid mix is usually made of like cocoa coir, perlite or vermiculite or pumice, even small diameter lava rock, charcoal. Some people use the horticultural charcoal. I tend to use lump charcoal from the barbecue aisle, and just crush it up in a pillowcase with like a rubber hammer or rubber mallet, and see sphagnum moss. And I'll even take, like over there you see I got a bunch of ribs from palm trees, and I'll cut those up, chunk those up, and throw that in there as well. And like this whole crown off of a palm tree from a Robolini, the pygmy date palm, I will, if that falls apart, I'll end up throwing it in a pot for aroid mix. Anyway, here's mostly what my aroid mix is like. I got down here. See how chunky that is? That allows for drainage, good drainage. It's, there's a little gravel I think in here, but not much. I try not to put gravel or sand in there. People always say, oh, sand, good drainage. No, sand, it drains, but not as fast as that stuff. And sand doesn't allow the air to get down to the roots of these aroids, and lack of air can harbor bad bacteria, which can kill your aroids, cause root rot. Anyway, so I use like that, or like in there. And sometimes I'll even, throw a little bit of leaf in there for leaf mold. Oh, and also in the mix, some people throw in worm castings or compost. Me, I kind of like, if I buy a plant from a garden center or something, I usually take it out and I'll save that. Like I actually got this here. This was actually a button fern, and there was a nursery. They were throwing them away after the hard freeze we had. And I was like, well, I'll see if they come back. If they don't, I've got, soil. So I just threw them all in there when they never came back. And if I need a little soil to go in my aroid mix, that's what I do. And I fertilize, so I'm not really worried about the worm castings. I use this stuff right here, Epiphyte's Delight. And it is specially formulated for aroids and even orchids, bromeliads, tillandsias. It is specially formulated to with a nitrogen. I think it's like a uric derived nitrogen. So aroids, epiphytes, are able to absorb that naturally very fast, as opposed to like a slow release nitrogen, which a orchid isn't going to get to use that. Same with any aroid that's climbing a tree. The roots that are up in the tree are not going to get to absorb that, because it's just going to, if it's a slow release nitrogen, it's just going to run down the tree bark to the ground to be decomposed and broke down in the ground. So they need, I believe it's a uric based nitrogen. Anyway, that's my aroid mix, and like I said, I use a variant of it on just about all my plants. And anyway, that's it. If you got any questions, leave your questions in the comments below. If you like what I said, hit the like and subscribe button. And here's this is my this is a brand new plant. It's Anthurium pseudospectabile, and I just left this here. It already come with a very fine kind of aroid mix in it, and I just left it in the pot, and I took the palm chunks off of a palm tree that got killed during the freezing we cut down, and I just save the trunk, and as it decomposes and stuff falls off of it, I'm using it in here because these like a lot of moisture, and I don't want to pull it out of that, put it in the basket, and just because this stuff will dry out very fast. But I kind of use this more as a medium to absorb water to be released as humidity, which is kind of what the aroid mix does. It gathers water, holds it, and releases it as humidity back to the plant's roots, so they're getting water and oxygen, which aroids need. Matter of fact, all your epiphytes need that. And your aroids, anthuriums, and philodendrons are aroids, and they use air roots. That's why you see them little roots coming out the side of your monsteras and your philodendrons. Don't cut those off. Those are just aroids. That's the air roots. In the wild, in the jungle, it would use those to cling onto a tree for mechanical support as it tries to get higher to the sunlight, up closer to the sunlight in the top of the canopy. So that's why this aroid mix is so good for your aroids, because it lets oxygen get to the roots of the plant, and that will help prevent rot from setting in. That's about all I can think of right now. Like I said, if you got any questions, let me know. Thanks.